Hey guys, Tom here from Fitness Consulting. Hope everybody is doing well. What I want to do today is go over our process, which is our roadmap of where and what fitness trainers should be doing when they're moving their business online or are growing their business online. Now we've put this together more for the fact that what I see on a daily basis is coaches and trainers that are doing things to grow their business online, but they're stuck in doing the wrong things at the wrong time. Like, it's almost like if we were to think about it and we were looking at training for our first ever marathon and we've never ever run before, we don't start by doing 1 mile repeats at maximum effort times 20, right? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. So we start looking at things like what a top marathon runner might be doing, and then we try to implement that to our program. Would make no sense, and you can understand that. And this is the same thing that happens with coaches and trainers when they move their business online or do anything with business. They look at somebody who's in business and doing business, and they try to do what they're doing now, but not doing what they did when they were at your level. So what we're going to do here is we're going to jump down and have a bit of a look-see and go, well, what is it that we need to be doing to actually move our business forward depending on where we're at? So we're going to have a look at the lower tier category. So if you're already at 10k plus, this is not necessarily relevant to you. But if you're at 0 to 2 or 2 to 5, then this will make perfect sense. So let's have a look at this here. 3 slow, 6 fast is more indicating like what we're talking about is if you can get the foundations right in the first 3 to 6 months, then you can exponentially grow over the 3 months after that. But if you start doing all the things to grow and scale too early, you'll never grow and scale. So let's have a look at this here. This is our framework that we use. Now, what we've got is, and again, I said we were going to have the conversation around sort of more here and more here. So I'll explain how this process actually works, because what happens is, if I used that marathon analogy, people would go, okay, they've come up with an idea of what they want to do, they build a hero product, they start looking at how do I create a chatbot, get some automations, hire a sales team. This is what's going on in their head. And cool, that makes sense, but it won't work. So what we want to look at is go, this is the process here, and it works in this way here. So we would go along that front there, and if we're already above that, then we would be looking at the same principle working that way. So let me break that down for you though, so it all actually makes sense. If we want to grow our business, we need to have this. This is the first piece dialed in. If we don't have an offer hypothesis, then we can't move forward. Offer hypothesis meaning we have to have an idea and a concept of who we're trying to help, how we're trying to help them, and if they want the help. Okay, so let's just start with this. If we look at this here, what we need to actually come up with a message or an offer hypothesis is a person with a problem. So if we just go, let's just start there. Do we have a person with a problem? Let's just say that's weight loss, doesn't really matter at the moment. And then are you, we'll put a sexy hat on you, are you able to help that person? So if we've got these two things aligned, then the only other thing we need to come up with a hypothesis is like, will they have the money to actually buy your offer? If any one of these aren't aligned, then we're going to get stuck in the next piece of the puzzle, like moving across here. We are going to get stuck. So we have to look at that. So is the person that you're helping at the moment, do they have a problem? And have you got the skills and the ability to help them? So if we go yes, if we go yep, and do they have the money to actually buy them? So if we use an example there, the right person with the problem with the money, if you've got someone like, probably not the best example, but if we've got somebody that is like an overweight homeless person, will they have the money to actually buy what you're selling? Probably not. So if we look at that and go, okay, does the person have a problem? Yes. Do I have the skills to help them? Yes. Do they have the financial resources? No. Therefore, it's going to be very hard to actually grow this moving forward. Okay, so that's the first thing that we have to think about, is can we have those things aligned? Then what we need to look at is if we go, okay, yes to that there, we've got that there, then we just have to understand the person in enough detail. That's the difference between like That's sorry, that's the difference that we want to come up with when we're coming up with our offer versus our avatar, because that would be like another tier lower. So we go, what is our offer? So we go, okay, well, there's a person that we've come up with, and that's the sad person we talked about there. Now we would go into the avatar of understanding that person in more detail. Who are they? What are their pain points? What are their problems? All of that sort of stuff would be how we would create an avatar. Once we have our avatar, that gives context to this part. Because now, with our offer and our avatar, all our content that we create is to this person's pain points, problems, everything that we've identified when we created an avatar. Then when we have conversations with these people, whether that be via chat or conversation, phone, whatever, then it's easy to progress forward from here because we already know their pain points, we know their problems, and we're having a conversation with them about the things that we know because we know how to help them. So it makes all of that really, really easy. If somebody is moving up and trying to create chat bots and funnels and all this sort of stuff when they haven't dialed this stuff in, the chat bot is saying shit to someone that they don't want. Like, you're trying to sell, I'll use the marathon analogy again, you're trying to sell a marathon program to someone who wants bigger biceps, right? Doesn't matter how good your funnel is, nothing is actually going to work from that point unless you get a fluke freak lucky dude who wants to implement some bicep curls into his marathon program. But the programs, you can see, won't align. So all our content, if we're selling a bicep program, can't be around how to... what sort of supplements should we be using when running our first marathon? Like, it makes no sense. So we go, okay, well, once we have our offer and our avatar dialed in, our content can be created around that there. Created to this person here, and the workflow around that too will make perfect sense. Which also means our sales process is pretty simple, because all we have to do is go, we've got the person, we know their problem, do you want some help? Obviously there's a system to follow in more detail there, but it is as simple as that. We've got a person with a problem that you know how to solve, would you like some help achieving that? Yes I would. Awesome. Sales process done at this stage, because all we need to do is be moving down this process here. Okay, so now this process here is really going from point to point. So we're going to go in a straight line straight across like this. Okay, then we go our minimum viable product offer program, whatever it is. So we now can create a program for these people, and you would have heard people saying that you need to create sell it before you build it, or something along those lines. You would have heard that a million times, and this is the whole reason, is because we're still running on an offer hypothesis. We don't know what's wrong. So once we've gone through the process, once we've gone through this process here, once we've gone through that whole process, what we actually can do is create a feedback loop. So that feedback loop goes exactly like this. We would come up with our offer hypothesis, we would go to the market, which means we'd have conversations, we would get them on a call, which means we'd get our first 5 sales, we would create our product to the best of our ability at this time. But what we would do by doing that is we're learning from these people, which creates that feedback loop to come back up to confirm our hypothesis. Okay, so this is how it improves over time. There is no way to come up with an offer, come up with an avatar, come up with all this sort of stuff, come up with a product and actually just go. It's a learning process that we have to implement over time. So there's 2 ways that this will happen for you, and you may have experienced this already, is you'll go from, I'll start that again. You'll go from here, so you'll come up with your offer, you'll have some conversations, you might get some people on a call, and you'll get some people buying your program. Okay, and let's say now you're working with some clients. Well done, awesome. But then from there we create this feedback loop where one of 2 things are going to happen. We create the feedback loop where we come up and we have to confirm that our offer is right, or we reiterate it. That's the only 2 things. So we can come back here and go, okay, we need to reiterate that there. Then we go through and improve on this, improve on this, and improve on this until we get it right. If we don't get those things right, we can't actually move up in the process to the 5 to 10K. It just won't work. So the two different things that I was mentioning is like we go back, we improve our offer, or we create that feedback loop that I was talking about that goes like this. We go from our minimal viable product with our clients, we improve on it, we go up to confirmation. So now we have confirmation that our offer actually works. So there's an alignment here where we go, our offer is on point because we have people that are buying it with money. Cool. So what happens there? So most people probably don't want to stay at the 2K per month. So they want to keep working on this. So let's just say we'll come up here and we have this part, the offer confirmation sorted. Then from there we can go, okay, content mastery. How do we nail that content, making sure that we're doing call to actions to the right people at the right time to start getting leads coming into us. Then what we can do is like we can create some automations inside that, because we know that a conversation flow works. If it doesn't work, conversation flow and automation just won't work. Then what we have to look at is like our sales. We might be getting people on a call making some sales, which is great, but now we want to go, well, what do we have to do to either automate some processes so we get better show up rates? What do we need to do, and where are our weaknesses inside our sales process? What happens when people come on board, to like if people do come on board, how do we improve our onboarding processes? All that type of stuff to optimize the sales process. Then what we do is we're starting to build systems inside the program. So we've gone from this one here up to this one here, where the minimum product is probably going to be a lot of work on your end, but we want to create some systems to create leverage and build that over time that way. Hopefully this is all making sense. Alright, so the key point here is really like, and I've had this multiple times. I remember when I first started working with Karen, she was working a full-time job, and she was doing clients before and after work, and trying to get this whole thing done. So the worst thing that someone like this can do, like she ended up going through the process correctly, going along this line, up into this line, following the systems, following the process, so she could actually leave her job and work with clients full time. But if she didn't, and what she was doing prior to that, she was like kinda had an offer, was trying to create a program here, and probably something like that. It was sort of like this going on, which a lot of people do as well. But what we need to make sure that we do is go, let's get real, let's be honest. Where are you right now? Are you here? And if you're there, well, that's simple. We just follow this process. If we are here, well, that's also simple. We just need to follow this process. And if we are up here, we just follow that process. Scale and growth, done that way. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want access to this blueprint and roadmap, let me know. We can send it through. Actually, I'll put a link in the bottom there where you can just click and get that. What we're doing at the moment is we're going to break this stuff down into more detail over the next couple of weeks, where we're just going to go into more detail of the offer, avatar, and just work across these in more detail for you. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully you understood and got clear on where you are with your business and what the process is that you need to be working on. Because we can only work in the process of, if you've got that done, then we need to be working on that. But if we've got that done, then we need to be working on that, so on and so forth. And then just follow the feedback loop moving forward. So again, if you want the sheet, just click worksheet below. I'll put a link there. You can grab that there. If you have any other questions or anything around that, just let me know in the comments as well. More than happy to dive into a bit deeper in any of these subjects. Hopefully that's helpful, and good luck moving forward. Talk soon.